Shalom, shalom. Want to give honor and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, right? Let's get into the laws, right? Leviticus, the 20th chapter. They cover all diverse, commandments like homosexual, bestiality, land, dietary laws, high holy days, mortgage. They cover a lot of diverse, commandments. Let's get into it. Let's go to Leviticus 20, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, verse 2, again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel, whosoever he be of the children of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn in Israel, that giveth any of his seed unto Molech, he shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones, right? So meaning this is going to child sacrifice, and Molech was an ancient Canaanite god, abominable child sacrifice, right? The other nations were sacrificing children to Molech with fire, okay? Right? And the children of Israel, they saw these things happen and were sacrificing their children, okay? Right? So, we can't be doing that. And the Most High never told us to sacrifice our children. Let's go to precept. Jeremiah 19, verse 4. Jeremiah 19:4, because they have forsaken me and have estranged this place and have burned it incense in it unto other gods, whom neither they nor their fathers have known, nor the king of Judah have filled this place with the blood of innocent. Verse 5, they have built also the high places of Baal to burn their sons with fire for burnt offerings unto Baal, which I command not, nor spake it, neither came it into my mind. Meaning the Lord said, I command not, nor spake it, neither came it into my mind, meaning he never said to go do it. And you had, Israelites giving their sons to Molech. And remember seeing the movie, the Ten Commandments, with the two golden calves that they made, and them two golden calves represent Baal, right? And Baal is an ancient Canaanite goddess, god, or idol, right? And the way to please it is to, do children's sacrifice, okay? And that was the only way. And if you was, sacrificing your child, and then you wasn't serving Molech the right way, and also Molech is mentioned in various precepts, right? Let's go back to Leviticus 20 and 3. Leviticus 20 and verse 3. And I will set my face against that man, and will cut him off from among his people, because he had given of his seed unto Molech, to defile my sanctuary and to profane my holy name. Verse 4, and if the people of the land do any ways hide their eyes from the man, when he giveth of his seed unto Molech, and kill him not, meaning if you see a brother about to do a child sacrifice, and you can't say, I don't want to get in his business, but the Lord said we have to say something and rebuke that brother and let him know that he is going off. And that means anything you see your brother going off today, and you have to rebuke him, right? Okay. And if you don't rebuke him, right, you're going to bear the iniquities, okay, because you're not saying anything. Okay, let's go to the precept. Let's go to Leviticus 5 and verse 1. Leviticus 5 and 1. And if a soul sin and hear the voice of swearing, and is a witness whether he has seen or known of it, if he do not utter it, then he shall bear his iniquity. So meaning if you see someone, committing an act and you don't say anything, then you are committing an act as well. And you see someone doing child sacrifices and you don't say anything, then you are accomplished to it as well. And the Lord said, don't hide the face of that man, right? So you can't hide that face of that man, right? And if you're not rebuking that man, that means you hating your brother, okay? Okay, so we shouldn't be hating our brother. Let's go to the classic precept. Let's stay in Leviticus. Let's go to 19 and verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him, right? It's a commandment to rebuke our brothers, okay? If you see him going also, if you don't rebuke him, and you love to see him in danger of being put to death. So be your brother's keeper, right, in these last days, okay? And you have to rebuke that brother, right? If you see him eating pork, got to report it to the judge or the elders, and you're not being a snitch, all right? You showing love to your brother, okay? Right? And that's how you rebuke him for the fear of the consequences of being put to death, okay? Right? Also, you can't let your brother come entice you to getting all type of wickedness, okay? Eating pork, smoking weed, or whatever, right? Let's go to the precepts, right? See, these precepts, the law show us how to walk in this life, okay? When a brother, doing something wrong, right? You got to rebuke your brother, or the brother's trying to entice you, go break the Sabbath, right? You got to remember these precepts, okay? It's Deuteronomy 13:6. If thy brother, the son of thy mother, or thy son, or thy daughter, or the wife of thy bosom, of thy friend, which is as thy own soul, entice thee secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods, which thou hast not known, thou nor thy fathers, right? So if someone entice you to go serve other gods or break the Sabbath, like help them, move a truck, or get you to buy or sell, or go run errands with them or for them. Verse 8, thou shalt not consent unto him, nor hearken unto him, neither shall thy eye pity him, neither shalt thou spare, neither shalt thou conceal him, right? So Yahweh said you have to kill him on the spot, and you can't hide him. And if someone tried to entice you and tried to get you to go off, and you shouldn't listen to him and have no pity on him, okay? And don't spare him and put him to death on the spot with a stone or sword or that jabber, and you got to deal with it, right? And that's what the Lord said, with 2 or 3 witnesses, okay? Right? Verse 9, but thou shalt surely kill him, thy hand shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterwards the hand of all the people. Verse 10, and thou shalt stone him with stones, that he die, because he hath sought to thrust thee away from the Lord thy Yahweh, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage. Verse 11, and all Israel shall hear and fear, and shall do no more any such wickedness as this is among you. So if someone, pull you to the side and ask you to go off, and they were put to death, and all Israel heard and feared it, and they wouldn't entice you to do any type of wickedness, because they were afraid to get put to death on the spot, right? And today's society, man, Jake get a lot of leeway, because they should be put to death on the spot in Babylon, and it doesn't matter if your mother, brother, son, father, uncle, etc., right? But in Babylon, we don't get put to death on the spot with stones, okay, right, or a sword, but we have to repent, right? Back then, when a man or a woman, which committed a wicked thing, right, so you got to bring it to the gates, right, and you got to be stoned, okay, but it got to be 2 or 3 witnesses, okay, right? But let's go to it. It's Deuteronomy 17 and verse 5. Then shalt thou bring forth that man or that woman which have committed that wicked thing unto thy gate, even that man or that woman, and shalt stone them with stones till they die. Verse 6, at the mouth of 2 witnesses or 3 witnesses shall he that is worthy of death be put to death, but at the mouth of 1 witness he shall not be put to death. Verse 7, the hands of the witness shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterwards the hands of all the people. So thou shalt put the evil away from among you. Meaning anything that's worthy of death, and you bring it at the mouth of the gate of 2 or 3 witnesses, right? And all the people that can see the wickedness bring forth, and what sin bring forth, and that is death, right? So any wicked things that worthy of death must be done in front of all the people, okay? All right? Let's go back to Leviticus 20 and verse 5. 20, this is Leviticus 20 and verse 5. Then I will set my face against that man and against his family, and will cut him off, and all that go a whoring after him to commit whoredom with Molech from among their people. Verse 6, and the soul that turned it after such as have familiar spirits and after wizards to go a whoring after them, I will even set my face against that soul and will cut him off from among his people. Right? So the Lord is against seeking wizard, magician, warlocks, witches, wizard, enchanters, sorcerers, spellcasters, tarot cards, and it tells you, in Exodus 22:18, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live, right? So the Most High is against that, all right? That divination, enchanters and witches, all right? Let's go to the precept. Let's go to Deuteronomy 18 and verse 10. It's Deuteronomy 18 and 10. Let me read that again. There shall not be found among you any one that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that use the divination, or an observer of times, or enchanters, or a witch, right? So enchanter or witch are the same, trying to raise up the dead body, etc., etc. Charmers, witches, casting spells, supernatural, Disney World, spells, curses, in this Babylon, it's about all this wickedness, all right? That's all they do, right? Witchcraft, okay? Curses, casting spells, charmers, okay, right, supernatural powers, Disney World. That's what all they do in this Babylon the Great, right? But the Most High is against all that. So the children of Israel, we can't be involved in that, right? Let's go back to Leviticus 20 and verse 6. Now, verse 7. Leviticus 27. Sanctify yourself, therefore, and be ye holy, for I am the Lord your Yahweh. And being holy is separate. And if you think and act like these other nations, and eating and drinking and dressing like him, and serving a same God as he does, then you are not holy. And holy mean come back to your God, right? Yahweh. And that's the only way to be holy, to come back, right? And be the sons and daughters of Zion, okay? Right? Verse 9. For everyone that cursed his father or his mother shall be surely put to death. He had cursed his father or his mother, his blood shall be upon him, right? So cursing your father and mother is wickedness, right? In the Lord's eyes, okay? Right? So you can't be that stubborn, wicked son that's cursing your father and your mother, being rebellious, right? Okay, let's go through the precept. Let's go to Deuteronomy 21, and I'm going to start with verse 18. It's Deuteronomy 21:18. If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastised him will not hearken to them, right? Meaning you still got Jake living at home in the basement and not working and not paying any bills and still disrespecting his father and his mother, right? Verse 19, then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him and bring him out unto the elders of his city and unto the gates of his place, right? They had to put hands on their son, bring him out unto the elders, okay? Right? Verse 20, and they shall say unto the elders of his city, this our son is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard, right? Meaning he's eating all the food, grapes, drinking up the wine, calling his friends over, eating all the foods, and he is drunk, right? Verse 21. And all the men of his city shall stone him with stones, that he die. So shall thou put evil away from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear. And in today's society, it's supposed to be a lot of dead bodies on the earth right now. And Jake with their pants sagging, glutton, and drunkard. And the Lord said they have to be put to death for being rebellious people. And if you don't respect your father and your mother, you're not going to respect the elders of the city, right? Because the Most High said, don't spur the rod. Don't spur the rod. Because if you spur the rod, then you hate your son, right? So you can't spur the rod, all right? You got to get that rod, get that switch. We got that whooping with the switch back then, you know, put it on our backside, okay, right? When we got in line with our parents, okay? But the Most High said, you know, hey, if you spurring your son, okay, you spurring him with the rod, you hate your son. Okay. Let's go to it. Proverbs 13 and 24. And he that spared his rod hated his son, but he that loved him chastised him bad time. What the Lord is saying, if you don't beat your son, you hate your son. And if you love your son, you will beat him when he goes off doing something wrong. But not when he didn't do anything wrong and turn him into, a punching bag, all right? And that's going off as well, all right? Okay, so we got to bow down our kids, all right? Bow down and give them a good whooping, okay? Let's go to the precept. Let's go to Sirach 30 and verse 13. I'm going to start with verse 12. Sirach 30 and 12. But bow down his neck while he is young, and beat him on the sides while he is a child, lest he wax stubborn and be disobedient unto thee, and so bring sorrows to thy heart. So you have to beat him on the side, okay? Right, while he is a child, and not when he gets 17, 18 years old, okay? That wouldn't serve the purpose. You beating him at 17, 18 years old, okay? You beat him while he's a child, okay? Right? Verse 13, chastise thy son and hold him to labor, lest his lewd behavior be an offense unto thee, right? And meaning he is going to want to do whatever he wants to do, like being in the streets, being a wicked Jake, smoking weed, dealing drugs, gang banging, pimping, all kind of wickedness, right? Because if you love your son, you're going to let him feel the rod, right? Let's stay in this chapter. Let me go up to verse 1. Right, this Ecclesiastes 30 verse 1. He that loveth his son cause him often to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end. Right, so if you love your son, you will make sure he feel the rod all the time when he is going off. And also the Lord let us feel the rod when we goes off, right? As well, when we are wicked, okay? So that's Deuteronomy 8 and 5 and 8 and 6, okay? Right? And your son, and your son will have joy in it at the end, okay? Right? When you teach him the right way and chastising him when he is a child from knowing right from wrong, okay? Verse 2, he that chastise his son shall have joy in him and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance. Verse 3, he that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him, right? And Esau don't like to see this young 14-year-old boy doing the work of the Lord, holding posts, at camp, and that grieved the enemy, right? That grieved the hell out of him, and that grieves the hell out of Esau. He's seeing this 14-year-old boy holding posts, not out there gang banging, okay? His pants not sagging, okay? Right? Doing all type of wickedness, okay? Esau hate that, right? Verse 4. Though his father died, yet he is as though he were not dead, for he had left one behind him that is like himself. Meaning your son is like you and standing bold on fire and doing the work of the Lord. And you left one behind him that is like himself, right? Let's go back to Leviticus 20. And I want verse 10, Leviticus 20 and 10. And the man that committed adultery with another man's wife, even he that committed adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. Adulterer is when a man is lying down with a married woman. All right. Or if a woman is promised to a man and that woman goes and lay down with another man, an adulterer is the when a man go lay down with another man's wife. So the adulterer and adulteress shall surely be put to death, right? Adulteress mean a married woman who has sex with another man, okay? So so we can't be having adultery with another man's wife. We can't be sitting down with her, drinking the wine with her. Okay, let's go through the precepts. See what the Most High said. This is Ecclesiasticus verse 9 and start with verse 8. Ecclesiasticus 9 and 8. Turn away thy eye from a beautiful woman and look not upon another beauty, for many have been deceived by the beauty of a woman. For herewith love is kindled as a fire. Meaning, don't look at another man's beautiful wife, okay? And for herewith love is kindled as fire, meaning you can't stop thinking about her. You are in love with another man's wife, and that is wicked, okay? Verse 9, sit not at all with another man's wife, nor sit down with her in thy arms, and spend not thy money with her at the wine, lest thy heart incline unto her, and so through thy desire thou fall into destruction, right? So meaning, don't be sitting down with another man's wife, and getting drinks with her, all right, and drinking wine with her, okay, right? And you shouldn't do it, all right? And it doesn't matter who it is. And you don't want to be, in a room with her, cracking jokes, and that's off, okay, right? Because, you sitting down with another man's wife, all right, and that man see that man gonna be jealous, all right? He gonna be in a rage, all right? He don't want to spur you in that day of vengeance, all right? Let's go to the precepts, okay? Let's go to Proverbs 6 and 34. This is Proverbs 6 and 34. Let me start with 32. This is Proverbs 6 and 32. But whosoever, Slucky, read that again. But whoso committed adultery with a woman lacked it understanding. He that doeth it destroyed his own soul. Verse 33, a wound and dishonor shall he get, and his reproach shall not be wiped away. Right? So the Lord isn't dealing with that in your land with that woman, or lusting, love kindle as fire, meaning lusting after another man's wife, and it isn't going to be wiped away, right? Verse 34, for jealousy is the rage of a man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance, right? And the man will not spare the man that slept with his wife, right? Or just over his house, trying to say he fixed it, this for his wife, and the man will be jealous and will be enraged, and he will not spare anyone in that day of vengeance, right? And on a twofold level, right? The Lord is coming back with a vengeance, and you're having a spiritual fornication with Babylon, okay? Right? Verse 35. He will not regard any ransom, neither will he rest content, though thou givest many gifts, right? And you can't say you're sorry, or you trying to buy yourself out of it with gifts, or with land, cows, cars, etc. But on a deeper level, right? Whoso commit adultery with a woman lacking understanding, he that doeth it destroyed his own soul, meaning Jake out here having adultery with Babylon every day and destroying his own soul. So we can't be having adultery with another man's wife, all right? Or gazing up on another man's wife, okay? Let's go to the precepts. Let's go to Sirach 41 and verse 21. This is Sirach, this Ecclesiasticus 41:21. I'm gonna start verse 16. This is Sirach 41 and 16, all right? Therefore be shamefaced according to my word, for it is not good to retain all shamefacedness, neither is it altogether proved it in everything, right? So the Lord is going to give you a list, that you should be ashamed-faced of. And we talk about women should be shamefaced, and men should be shamefaced as well, right? verse 17. Be ashamed of whoredom before father and mother, and of a lie before a prince and a mighty man. And you should be ashamed to be a whoredom in front of your father or mother coming home, if you was 15 years old, pregnant, you don't know who the dad is, okay? Right? And you should be ashamed about that, right? Verse 18, of an offense before a judge and ruler, of iniquity before a congregation and people, or of unjust dealing before thy partner and friend. Verse 20, and of silence before them that salute thee, and to look upon an harlot, right? And if a brother salute you and you salute him, and if you are looking up on a harlot, and you shall be ashamed of yourself of looking at these women with their bodies out, okay? Right? And every man looking at them, and that is what the Most High said. Verse 21, and to turn away thy face from thy kinsman, or to take away a portion or a gift, or to gaze upon another man's wife, right? So, and you should be ashamed to gaze upon another man's wife, to look at her, and you can't gaze and look at, another man's wife, and that will be adultery, okay? Right? Okay, that's Matthew 5:28, okay? Right? Let me pull that real quick, okay? Matthew 5:28 to prove that. It's Matthew 5:28. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her committed adultery with her already in his heart, to my heart, to much of mine. We're looking at a woman, on a woman lusting after her, okay? We already committed adultery, okay? Right? Let's go back to it. Leviticus 20 and verse 11. And the man that lighted with his father's wife have uncovered his father's nakedness, both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. Meaning, no, you can't deal with your father's wife, and you will get put to death for that, right? Verse 12, and if a man lie with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall surely be put to death. They have wrought confusion, their bodies shall be upon them, right? Meaning that's going off. The father lie with his daughter-in-law, and that's confusion, right? Verse 13, if a man also lie with mankind as he lie with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them, right? Meaning no homosexuality, and lesbian, tranny, etc., and the Lord don't approve of it, right? Verse 14, and if a man take a wife and her mother, it is wickedness. They shall be burnt with fire, both he and they, that there be no wickedness among you, right? Meaning you can't deal with a wife and the mother, right? And that's wickedness, and they all should be burnt with fire, okay? Right? Verse 15, and if a man lie with a beast, he shall surely be put to death, and ye shall slay the beast, right? So meaning no bestiality, man or woman. And why did the Lord say you shall slay the beast? If you lie with it, meaning the beast is defiled and confused it, and his mind is all jammed up. And another reason you have to slay the beast, because a strange creature could come out, or he goat or she cow, and the Lord said, no, kill the beast, it is defiled it, okay? And also on a spiritual level, we lay down with a beast that has two horns, which is the beast of the dragon, which is Babylon, right? And we all commit spiritual bestiality every day in Babylon, and we don't even know it, okay? And you are into bestiality if you are in Babylon. And Jakes are deep into spiritually bestiality every day, and the Lord's still going to slay the beast, and that is the spiritual bestiality, right? When y'all shall come back and slay this beast, all right, the spiritual beast, okay? Babylon the Great, okay? Right? Verse 16, and if a woman approach unto any beast and lie down thereto, thou shalt kill the woman and the beast. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. You have to kill the woman and the beast, right? Verse 17, And if a man shall take his sister, his father, daughter, or his mother, daughter, and see her nakedness, and she see his nakedness, it is a wicked thing, and they shall be cut off in the sight of their people, and have uncovered his sister nakedness. He shall bear his iniquity, right? Meaning, no, you can't lie with your sister, all right? Your father or mother, daughter, or see each other nakedness, okay? Right? Verse 18. And if a man shall lie with a woman having her sickness, and shall uncover her nakedness, he had discovered her fountain, and she have uncovered the fountain of her blood, and both of them shall be cut off from among their people. Meaning, when a woman is on her flower, and let her go through her cycle for 7 days, and 7 more days as well, because she is unclean, okay? Verse 19, and thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister, nor of thy father's sister, for he uncovered it his near kin. They shall bear their iniquities, right? So meaning, no sleeping with your mother and father's sister, right? Verse 20, and if a man shall lie with his uncle's wife, he have uncovered it his uncle's nakedness. They shall bear their sin. They shall die childless, right? Meaning, you can't sleep with your uncle's wife. Verse 21, and if a man shall take his brother's wife, it is an unclean thing. He had uncovered it his brother nakedness. They shall be childless, right? Meaning, you can't sleep with your brother's wife, right? Verse 22, ye shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my judgment, and do them, that the land whither I bring you to dwell therein spew you not out, right? 23, and ye shall not walk in the manners of the nation which I cast out before you, for they committed all these things, and therefore I abhorred them, right? Okay, right? When we read about, bestiality, incest, adultery, and that's not what we were doing in that land, right? It was them Canaanites, okay? We're doing in that land, and that is why the Most High, spewed them out of that land, right? And we were following them same acts, and that is why we are in Babylon today, right? For following the ways of the Ammonites and the Moabites, okay? Right? Verse 24, but I have said unto you, you shall inherit their land, and I will give it unto you to possess it, a land that flowed with milk and honey. I am the Lord your God, which have separated you from other people. 25, ye shall therefore put difference between clean beasts and unclean, and between unclean fowls and clean. And ye shall not make your soul abominable by beast, or by fowl, or by any manner of living things that creepeth on the ground, which I have separated from you as unclean. 26, and ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Lord, am holy, and have severed it you from other people, that ye shall be mine, right? 27, a man also or woman that had a familiar spirit, or that is a wizard, shall surely be put to death. They shall stone them with stones, their blood shall be upon them, right? Meaning, you have to stone them to death, okay? Right? So that's the Leviticus 20 chapter, right? Okay? Covering all diverse commandments, homosexuality, bestiality, land, dietary laws, high holy days, mortgage, okay? Right? So go over these laws, write these precepts down, study, okay? But you can learn these laws, all right? What to do and what not to do, okay? Right? When a brother entices you to do some wickedness, okay? Right? You know not to do that, okay? Right? You know to go to Deuteronomy 13 and 6, okay? Right? Don't let a brother entice you, okay? Right? So if the brother say something to you, you got to rebuke that brother, okay? Right? That's Leviticus 19 and 17. You got to rebuke that brother trying to, get you to go off, okay? Right? But anyway, I want to give honor and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Shalom.